Hoarluk Doomshaper, Rage of Duhnia. Hoarluk Doomshaper spent a century gathering strength and delving into the deepest mysteries of the Trollblood's essence. His great power has shaken the communities of the Gnarls and Thornwood to their roots and earned the fear and reluctant respect of countless elders. Trollkin in many circles talk about Hoarluk as a force of nature, implacable, incomprehensible, and impossible to ignore. He is a creature to be appeased and placated rather than be persuaded. Those who fear him believe he reached the peak of his power, that a shaman of his age can learn no more. They will soon discover the scope of their error. Even as many hot-blooded Trollkins continue to flock to Doomshaper to hear his violent rhetoric and to fight at his side, he remains focused on a more profound goal. It has never been for him to be a simple war shaman. He seeks to plumb the fundamental connections between all Trollkin, the power invested by Duhnia in their blood. After learning all he could from scrolls taken from ancient Creel stones and venturing into every significant Mulgar ruin, Hoarluk decided he would take a more direct approach. He would plunge into the very depths of dire troll consciousness. Unshackling his mind and freeing himself of all restraints, Doomshaper merged with the most violent and powerful of these creatures, running with them, living as one of them, and rising to near godlike status among them. He has tapped into reserves no shaman has ever known, his escalating power proved in a ritual witnessed by the most ancient of dire trolls. As the height of the ceremony, Hoarluk cut off his own hand and then regenerated it, accomplishing in seconds what would have taken months for another Trollkin. Doomshaper has not only unlocked unprecedented regenerative powers, but has also gained the insight into primal nature that binds Warbeast to Warlock. This knowledge has given him unprecedented influences over his enemies, as he can now go beyond the blood of trolls to steal the essence of other beasts and use their powers for his own purposes. His newfound mastery of natural lore rivals that of even the druids of the Circle Oberos. So focused was Hoarluk on attaining these powers that he did not anticipate the treachery that nearly unraveled his efforts. Several years ago, a conspiracy of Gnarls and Thornwood elders betrayed him to Signaran authorities. The Doomshaper's subsequent capture and imprisonment confirmed in his mind that he needs to retaliate with unmitigated fury and violence against those who would oppress the Creels, and also led to reprisals against those elders who betrayed him. The powerful shaman's influence over the warlike bands of the Gnarls was only reinforced, and those who feared him before soon realized they had not yet seen the terror of his full wrath invoked. So this guy is so in tune with what it is to be connected to a troll that he can now connect himself, kind of, with other people's warbeast as well. Well, that adds an entirely new terrifying thing to Doomshaper, because he already doesn't like other races, as he's noted. And yeah, and he was betrayed by his own elders. My goodness, they must be terrified of him. But we will see what that turns out to them in the future. But let's read over his Mark 3 to Mark 4 changes, shall we? Alright, of course we will start with his stat list as always. And as many of the Warcasters moved into from Mark 3 to Mark 4, nothing really changed on this one. He is still a speed 5, still a mat 5, still a defense 13, armor 15, arc of 7, and control range of 14, and he's a Trollkin, so he still has his tough, as all Trollkins do. Appears his standard abilities, Attune Spirit still there, so he can still cast an Animus. He still casts Animus without spending focus on, or Fury on that. He still has Field Marshal Overtake, so cohort models in this model's battle group gain Overtake, so after they destroy something, they can move 1 inch. So that's awesome. He still has Hyper Regeneration, because as mentioned in his story, he attained that after working with the Dire Trolls so thoroughly. And then his weapon, Willbreaker, is still a Mat 5, range 2, power 13 melee weapon, and it still is magical, and it still has powerful attacks, so 1 Fury allows him to boost all attacks and damage rolls with that weapon. And his feat is the exact same as it was before. Friendly faction Warbeast in his battle group gain +3 speed, and then they can charge, slam, trample, make power attacks without having to be forced for that round. so that is terrifying still, so nothing changed there. His spell list did get changed a little bit, so we'll go with what he still has. He still has Hex Blast, so whenever he shoots that at an enemy, all their upkeep spells and animis on that model/unit are removed. He still has Psychosurgery, so he can still heal everybody in his battle group within his control range, D3 plus 1. And then he still has Wild Aggression, which actually got cheaper in this rendition, so it's now a cost of 2 instead of 3, and it's still upkeepable. So what that does is a War Beast that you target that on can run, charge, and make slam attacks, power attacks without being forced, and then gains boosted melee attack rolls, which is kind of insane that is a 2-cost spell and it's upkeepable. And it makes say you put this on a dire troll, makes them even more terrifying because they're going to hit what they're trying to hit. But things that we lost from the original, we lost Agitation, which placed a Fury point on enemy War Beast currently in his control range. That's gone. Primal Shock also gone. I guess shooting through, aka a War Beast Arc node, didn't really help at all. But we did gain 2 more spells. We gained Sunder Spirit. It's a cost of 2, range 10, power 12, and what it does is it removes an enemy War Beast that was damaged by Sunder Spirit loses its Animus for 1 round. So if you have an enemy who has an Animus on his War Beast that's causing you all sorts of trouble, it removes that for 1 round. And then we get the Watcher. So the Watcher is a cost 2, range self, duration upkeepable. And what that does is when enemy advances in its movement within 6 inches of the spellcaster, you can choose a cohort model in your battle group, and that cohort model makes a full advance towards the enemy and then can make a melee or basic attack against said model. So that is pretty phenomenal, and for a cost of 2 and upkeepable again, this guy is terrifying, and he puts his War Beast to work. Like, he is definitely a War Beast caster with everything that he can do. Looks like he would be really good at running large groups of trolls and dire trolls and any kind of trolls, because this guy's definitely a troll caster. Not very much for units or solos on this guy, but definitely want to get him with a lot of his War Beasts going. But yeah, very terrifying. Outside of those spells, not really much change to him. So outside of just making him better, because Watcher and Sunder Spirit, you can shut down enemies pretty dang quick.